Hello guys, this is Miku, and today I'll be showing you why Tornado is actually trash. It actually loses to at least two other weapons in every situation of this game. So this is Tornado being a good weapon or not is actually a very controversial topic in this community for a very long time. And brace yourself because I'm going to speak fast at you this video. So as you can see, you cannot uh, make an ancient legendary weapon with only one weapon and with only one legendary weapon. So you actually need another legendary weapon. So I'm here to tell you that it is not worth making Tornado ancient legendary, and you better use it to sacrifice for Death Scythe or Bright Spear. So either Death Scythe or Bright Spear is like a guaranteed increase in DPS and overall survivability for you. So let's get started with this video. So let's get started with my 11 reasons of why Tornado is bad and not worth it. So let's start with my thesis that I'm about to defend in this video. So Tornado loses to at least two other weapons in every situation of this game. And this is not an opinion, it's a fact, and now let me prove it with math and logic in this video. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm making this video because I see tons of new players getting tricked by the aero damage and back damage of Tornado offers. And I don't blame you, having inbuilt pierce and bounce sounds too good to miss out. I know. I myself played with Tornado until I cleared chapter 13, even before chapter 14 was out. And people that played back then know that chapter 13 was relatively even harder than chapter 16 is now. Mostly because back then legendary weapons were very rare. Having one perfect epic was already luxury, and the talents are so expensive and so much worse than it is now. There are no runes. New heroes level just came out, so everyone was under leveled. So yeah, chapter 13 was very hard, harder than chapter 16 is now. So relatively, right, with the patches note coming out. So after watching a guy play the crit video back then with a bow, crit build, right? I didn't hesitate and I tried it and I found out that the projectile speed and projectile size actually matters. And then I tried with Death Scythe. I tried playing with Death Scythe and Bright Spear, and I found out that the weapon multiplier and knockback matters. Matters. And most importantly, attack speed does not matter as much once you get used to stutter stepping. I also found out that just how easy it was to farm chapter 13 with any skill combination, while I struggled to clear it with Tornado. And then I tried Staff when chapter 14 came out, and then when the dual mode came out, I thought it was finally Tornado's time to shine, but oh, I was so mistaken. um, so I played a lot with Tornado, and this is why I'm making this video, so that you guys, you new players, don't make the mistake of investing in Tornado. Okay. Today, after new update, talents got revamped, runes got introduced, the game got so easy. You can get away by using random equipment combination and clear chapter 16 or reach 240 stages in endless mode if you play well enough or farm enough or try enough times to roll perfect skill set. So just play enough and all the content will be cleared easily without any optimization needed. But if you want to clear this game without grinding to get good or get items or get lucky, the only way is to choose your equipment cleverly. and I farm effortlessly in chapter 16, and I also can reach plus 400 plus stages in this patch endless mode, not the one that is bugged that after 200 everything dies instantly. Now after 200 everything is buffed insanely high, and I can reach to 400 stages plus in this patch. And all of this, I'm not playing like a god or anything special. Just because I survive 10 times more and do about uh 20 to 30 times more DPS than normally people reach, because I choose my equipments and 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 skills with math. Doesn't mean that I play like God, right? I If you watch my videos of me clearing endless mode, I take tons of shots and I do tons of damage. It doesn't matter. It's just skill choices, equipment and skill choices uh, carries you over this whole game. It doesn't need to. You don't need to play good. So I'm here to make your game easier, just like I did it for me. And more importantly, you need to choose 3 weapons to be ancient and legendary. And I don't want you to regret sacrificing wrong weapons, as I said in the beginning of the video. Uh, then here's my real motive of making this video. Um, so my real motive is actually to convince you old stubborn tornado players that the tornado is actually a bad weapon. Yes, who you who continue to sprout things like weapons play style and then saying superficial reasons for why tornado is worth investing gold, gems, and also upgrading them into ancient legendary, and tricking new players into making this mistake. Yes, you. This video is for you. I'm apologizing in advance if I'm being a little rude, just to get my points across. I'm used to stubborn people, if I say so myself, and I believe that I need to utterly destroy all the reasonings for them to be convinced. So, and even though I do destroy all their reasonings, most likely they won't be convinced because they like how they play the game, because of their playstyle. So sorry for being rude in this video. Uh, really sorry, but I need to get my points across, because tornado is one of the worst weapons in this game. Not even close. Yeah, close to saw blade, and you know why saw blade is bad. So let's get started. Sorry. Okay. So here is my reasons. Reason number 1: low projectile speed. This makes tornado miss most of the attacks to moving targets on the way, and miss much more of the attacks on the way back. This also makes tornado miss most attacks to stationary targets on the way back if you move trying to dodge something. So in boss fights, like, it is shooting projectiles at you, and if you dodge the uh, if you dodge the damage on the way back of the tornado most likely will miss. And it also takes a very long time for tornado to fully do its damage, both of its hits. So it takes a long time for the tornado to hit the wall and then come back and hit the mob again. And this time makes it so much easier for mobs that jumps or bury in the ground to avoid all your attacks before it even arrives. So Art of Combat book can alleviate this problem by increasing the projectile speed, but would you trade this slight increase in DPS for 3 to 13 skills worth in Enlightenment book? Art of Combat also makes other aspects of tornado worse. So this is my first reason, the slow projectile speed. The second reason, the largest projectile size of all weapons. This makes walls too much of an obstacle and makes you expose yourself a lot more just to hit a mob. Have you ever tried tornado in duo mode? There are times when tornado simply does not reach the mob unless you hug the mob, and that's a very bad idea. If you have a front arrow and hug any wall, one of the arrows will not even get fired. And using Art of Combat make this problem even worse because the projectiles are now even bigger. Second reason. The third one, lowest weapon damage multiplicative multiplier. Oh my god. Yeah, lowest weapon damage multiplier of only 0.8. So most of the best, this is a bad thing because most of the best and important skills in these games are affected by weapon multiplicative modifier, such as Onir's, Helix, Myogics, Shari's, Shade's unique skills, and attack boost, crit chance, crit damage, attack boost speed, rage, ricochet, multi-shot, front arrow, diagonal arrows, side arrows, back arrows, talents, runes, rings, art of combat stats, etc. So all of them are affected by weapon damage multiplier, and having low damage multiplier is a very bad thing. So once you get used to Starter Step, after 2 attack speed boost and 1 multi-shot, all weapons have practically the same attack speed. And I keep showing you this in all my videos. You can reach attack speed limit in this game very easily with just 2 multi-shot and 3 attack speed boost. You can even surpass this the attack speed limit with this, with 2 multi-shot and 3 attack speed boost, even using Death Scythe, the slowest attack speed weapon of all. Here's of me breaking the attack speed limit. So you know how to identify attack speed limit. If your hero keeps attacking even after you move, that means that the attack that comes out after you move was backed up because your attack speed was higher than the attack speed limit. And the attack speed limit is about 9 attacks per second. So 3 attacks per second. Each of them shoots 3 arrows, or if you have front arrow, you shoot 18 arrows total per second. And if you have diagonal arrows, that is 36 arrows per second that you shoot. So reason number 4. Tornado's epic passive is destroyed by one of the best skills in this game, the Ricochet. Ricochet makes Tornado just a worse saw blade. And the Tornado's epic passive is the return damage, right? Tornado's epic passive is also destroyed by Bouncy Wall, because it makes the shoots go all random ways and lose damage as it bounces from wall to wall until it loses all its damage and comes back. Get it? Reason 6. Tornado is totally destroyed by Piercing Shot. Tornado is not indifferent to Piercing Shot. Tornado actually does less damage after Pierce. After you get Piercing Shot. So, 7. Lowest knockback of all weapons. Even lower than Staff and Spear, because it also knocks mobs closer to you on the way back, and Art of Combat can't fix this. So the increased knockback of Art of Combat, it knocks back the mob. It knocks the mobs further to you, and then when it comes back, it knocks it back to you. So that's not helpful at all. And then 8, bad epic stat. It only increases tornado attack on the way back, and it is very low increase. So normally it is 55%. So the tornado, common tornado, before epic tornado, you deal 55% on the way back, and now you deal 68%. That's about 13% more damage on the way back, and that's very, very bad. And then single target DPS, bad single target DPS. Because of its weapon multiplier, Death Scythe and Bright Spear have more single target DPS even though Tornado hits twice and has faster attack speed. Star Step makes attack speed difference between weapons less important, and I'll prove this down below with math. So 10th, this is the most important reason why Tornado is bad. So Tornado has bad multi-target or area damage. This sounds strange, right? Because of piercing and back and forth, it should have good area damage, right? Or multi-target damage, right? But no. In this video, I'll show you that even hitting through 3 targets back and forth, that is extremely rare, because you have to be aligned as well. So that makes 4 targets aligned. And even though you hit 3 targets back and forth with Rage at 1 HP, Tornado still loses to Ricochet. But the bad part doesn't end here. Tornado's area damage is smaller, and because you have to be in a line, and you need to align yourself too, so it limits your positioning for if you want to optimize your damage. While Ricochet doesn't give a shit about positioning and also have a bigger area, and it is easier to hit too. So as you can guess, this is the most important reason why Tornado sucks, and I'll be working on it in this video. The important thing that you should know is that by choosing Tornado over other weapons, you are making a trade between using Tornado's inbuilt kit of multi-target damage and Ricochet. So you're choosing between Tornado's inbuilt kit and Ricochet, because if you get Ricochet with Tornado, it is just strictly the worst weapon in the game. It is even worse than Saw Blade. So you have to choose between one or the other. So the last reason is bad consistent DPS. The only reason Tornado isn't the last in DPS is because it has a bonus damage on the way back. But because of reason 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, Tornado misses the damage on the way back in most situations. Freezing the mob may help, but freeze arrow just make mobs and bosses reset their attack and make them attack faster by resetting their animation speed, animation attack, just like you reset your animation attack with Starter Step to make you attack faster. Other ways of freezing is too conditional to apply constantly, and freezing also has cooldown, so mob can't be frozen eternally, and freeze time is not long enough for Tornado to go and come back in that time. And when you and the target, especially when you and the target are far away from walls, and this usually happens when you are in a low wall map where Tornado suffers the less. So usually you use Tornado in maps that has very low walls, low amount of walls, and it suffers the other way, that you don't get to hit the mobs as often because they are not close to any walls. So if not for its back damage, Tornado is just a worse Saw Blade, because it has less chances of hitting because of all those reasons from 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so these are my reasons. Before I start with math on reasons 9 and 10, let me add the finishing touches on why Tornado loses to at least 2 weapons in every situation in this game. So this is not a situation where Tornado is a jack of all trades and master of none. It's more like the Tornado is a trash of all trades and master of none. So if you want the first situation, if you want a balanced weapon, bow is the definition of balance, and spear is also very well balanced. Left side can be somewhat balanced with help of art of combat. Second situation, if you want anti-boss weapon, staff is unrivaled because of diagonal arrow combo, and because of reason 9, Death Scythe and Bright Spear are a better choice than Tornado. If you want a weapon for a chapter with a lot of walls, Bright Spear and Brave Bow are perfect for this job. If you want a strong knockback weapon, Death Scythe is unrivaled in this category, and Bow with Art of Combat have good knockback too. If you want high attack speed weapon, I don't know why you need high attack speed, because you reach max attack speed very easily, but there is Blade with the highest attack speed in this game, and Bow is a better choice than Tornado. So if you want a weapon for duo mode, Bow is very good because it is the most balanced weapon and it is very easy to starter step in duo mode. So you know that in duo mode starter step is a little bit different. You have to move your character to cancel the attack animation, not just tapping. So you have to actually slide a bit. So this is why Blade is good enough for players who don't know how to start step, and Spear is for more advanced players who know how to start step with Spear. So if you want a weapon for chapter that you are struggling to clear or endless mode, Death Scythe is unrivaled with its high DPS, very high DPS, and utility, especially utility, because if you're struggling, you are dying, and utility will help you survive. Then Spear is an awesome second choice because of its high synergy with Ricochet, and it deals the most damage of all weapons by trading its utility away. So if the guy is dead, then it won't kill you. Bow is an okay all-rounded third choice that will help you a little bit in all situations, so Bow is okay too. If you want a farming weapon, then Spear is unrivaled with its high speed projectiles and highest DPS of all weapons. And Death Scythe is an awesome second choice for harder chapters that you can make sure you get to the end of all farms. Bow can do this job better than Tornado. Then if you want a high DPS weapon, Death Scythe and Spear are the one with the highest weapon damage modifier, and thus the highest DPS too. If you want a multi-target weapon, any weapon with Ricochet is better than Tornado, with a few attack boost or even with Rage at 1 HP. So the only situation where Tornado is finally better than all weapons is in the Temple Escape event, because you need area damage from level 1. Because there are tons of mobs coming in straight line. That's it. But if you get Ricochet, any other weapon would be a better choice than Tornado. But the problem is that this event is not worth your 10 energy. It doesn't drop any equipment, no runes, drops almost no gold, and trust me that you will not lack any sapphire further on. What you need the most is gold. And since this event is such an inefficient farming place that you should not farm it at all, Tornado is back to being at least third choice in every situation of this game. So you can argue with me that Tornado has the best area damage start of all weapons because it has 2 inbuilt skills already. So at level 1, Tornado is the best. And here I ask you a question. Why would you bother with area damage at the start of the chapter, the easiest part, if your goal is to clear it? So you need to plan ahead. You need to think of the later stages in the run when you really need damage, and you won't have enough if you pick Tornado. And I see a ton of people complaining about not having enough damage and say you need to learn how to dodge mobs attacks pattern or get better skills or get better items, and this game is too hard, and no, in reality you're just making bad item and skill choices that makes your game harder. If you handicap yourself by using bad items and skills, then I don't I don't have anything to say. Better if you use better strictly better items and skills, the game becomes easier. That's obvious. So if you are still not convinced that Tornado is trash and should not be upgraded to Ancient Legendary, then the rest of the video will be hard math facts that will show you that Tornado is actually trash. But if you are convinced that Tornado is trash and should not be used, then thank you for watching. Stay around if you want to watch me do some math, and I hope this helped you in deciding which equipment to sacrifice in the end. And bye. So the next is, oh, people say this is the same trade-off you do when you choose other heroes over Helix, and I hear say no. um, you must be tired of me saying ricochet in this video. Don't worry, I'll say it a lot more. And also saying you can say this is the same trade-off. So I'll say nope, that's not true. Helix is not the worst hero, even though you have even though all other heroes have rage at level 1. This is for another video. So, and also other weapons have higher single target DPS than Tornado, even without ricochet, like Bright Spear and Left Scythe. And with Bright Robe, Enlightenment Book, and runes that increase your chances of getting ricochet, it was never this easy getting ricochet and rage. Look at this recovery rune that I have. Rage chance increased by 19%, and ricochet's chance increased by 24%. This is like almost the dream recovery, because you can also get multi-shot chance increased in this. And instead of leveling up healing in battle, if I get attack increase 3 seconds within headshot, then that is like the dream scenario. And I do think that Helix value really dropped ever since the Enlightened Book came out, because Rage, just as Ricochet, are more common now than ever. So the guarantee of having Rage because of Helix is not as good anymore, because it is easier to get Ricochet and Rage because of all these items and new changes to the game. I see tons of people complaining when they get piercing shots or bouncy walls or ricochet appearing on their skill choices several times when they play with Tornado, or are being forced to pick one of these skills and ruining their run. And this is not a skill problem. These skills are perfectly fine. They are actually good skills. Piercing shot and bouncy wall combo are actually good, and ricochet is the best scaling area DPS in the game. It is actually insanely good. This is not their problem. This is not the skills problem. This is the Tornado's problem. The skills are not bad. The Tornado is bad. uh, and then if the game changes to, oh, if you pick tornado, no, if you play with tornado and then piercing shot and bouncing wall doesn't appear, what will happen then? And then there would be still 9 reasons why tornado is bad. Yeah, there are tons of reasons why tornado is bad. And if you want to convince me tornado is good, you have to at least uh, prove me the 9th and 10th reason why tornado is yeah, you have to prove me wrong on the 9th and 10th reason. So here is tornado single target DPS versus Death Scythe and also Bright Spear. The reasons 9th proof. So you must wonder how tornado loses a DPS check in even in ideal conditions where it hits twice on the way and on the way back. And here's some math for you. First, we need to know tornado's kit numbers. So let's jump into dual mode to test this out. So my the Archero's base attack is 150. Weapons multiplier is tornado's weapon multiplier is 0.8. Pierce damage is 0.55, and return damage is also 0.55 before it gets to epic. So let's try the tornado on dual mode. So as you can see in the clip, 150 times 0.8 times 0.55 is 66. That's the damage on the way back, or piercing through enemies. That's the same. And when it gets back and hits two mobs, one of them gets hit by 36, another one gets hit by 38 crit damage, critical hit, and that is 19 times 2, and that is 36 times 0.55 rounded down. Both of them gets rounded down in this time. So, and here is another clip with Epic Tornado and my Meowshic with no other equipment than Epic Tornado. Than Epic Tornado. So pierce damage doesn't change, and only return damage is increased from 55% to 68.75% for Epic Tornado and above. So my first hit is 1559, and then I pierce the first target, and the second target receives 857, and then after bouncing back from the wall, the second target receives 565 damage, and then the first one receives after piercing through the second target, after piercing after the wall, the first one finally gets a damage of 331. So 857 is roughly very nearly 55% of the damage of the damage. And then it gets really a little bit weird here. The 565% out of 1559 is actually 0.55 times 0.6598, and this is slightly lower than 68.75%, mainly because of rounding of the game rounding system. And then the last one is 331. It is actually 0.055 times 0.6875 times 0.56, and this is slightly over 0.55 because of game rounding. So in total it gets really close to the same number. Like that, I'm just showing this video to prove to you that those numbers are right. So this means that for a single target, Tornado does the 100% of the first of when it goes, and 68.75% on the way back. And this is timed by 0.8 because of weapon modifier. And this gives me 1.35. So Tornado has a 1.35 multiplier. Like if it is like a weapon modifier of 1.35 if it hits both attacks. So that size weapon has a modifier of 1.45, and fully charged spear has 1.5, and both are higher. And yes, I'm not including attack speed in this calculation because third steps makes all weapons have a very close attack speed. I keep saying this, that it is very easy to reach attack speed limit. So you must wonder, oh, but there is crit damage. The Tornado also crits on the way back, and I say you that crit damage doesn't make any difference. It actually makes things worse for Tornado because the difference gets multiplied by the crit chance and crit damage, and the difference gets even larger. Not the percentage difference, but the raw increasing DPS gets larger. So my account has 26% crit chance and 300% crit damage multiplier. So Tornado, it depends on each of your account, but it is the same for everything. So Tornado has a 1.35 times whatever your 1 minus crit chance is times plus your crit damage multiplier times your crit chance. So everything gets multiplied the same way. So the difference will only increase. So the Tornado gets 2.055 52. Depth size gets 2.2, and charge spear gets you 2.28. And yeah, the Tornado loses to both of them on the single target DPS. Depth Scythe has 7.4% more DPS, and Charge Spear has 11% more DPS. And these are not small numbers, because this scales with every important skills in this game. So a weapon modifier is a very important thing in this game. For those who thought Tornado has higher DPS for single target damage, this outcome is totally the opposite. It actually loses by a lot. So let's move on to the resistance proof. So Tornado's kit versus Ricochet trade-off. So let's now dive into the math of this trade-off. So the total damage Tornado does to 3 targets aligned is the following. You guys who play with Tornado know that this situation is extremely rare, because you gotta be aligned too. So this is 4 objects aligned, and you have to keep them aligned for the DPS to sustain. Usually you only get 1 hit on the way, and everything gets out of the line on the way back, and you hit nothing. That's how usually Tornado works. You you make your way to align yourself with the mobs, and you attack and they move and you hit nothing on the way and on the way back. That's how tornado works. So even if you manage to hit all three of them on the way and on the way back, you still loses by a lot. So let's get started with the map. So the first mob, and so I'll be showing you the damage to the first mob, second, third, second, first. So the first mob receives 100% of the damage. The second one receives 55%. The third one receives, because of pierce, 55% squared. And then it bounces the wall, so the third mob will receive 55 squared times 0.6875. And then it will, oh no, I said bounce, but it's pierce. So it will pierce the third mob to deal 55% of the last damage to the second mob, and it will pierce again to deal 55% of the last damage to the first mob. So this is how it will add up. 1 plus 55, 0.55 plus, there you go, the equation. And all of this will be timed by 0.8 because of weapons modifier, because of tornado's weapon modifier, and this gives me a weapon modifier of 1.7902. So hitting 3 targets won't even get you twice the damage, twice the DPS. So so let's see if this number is good or bad. After including crit chance, tornado has a weapon modifier of 2.72. So you must think, oh, it deals almost 3 times the damage to three mobs. That's very good, right? Here I'll show you who's the king of this game. Ricochet. Projectile bounces up to 3 times between nearby enemies, but damage is reduced by 30% per ricochet. This skill is multiplicative. It means it multiplies your current DPS by 1 plus 0.7 on the second mob. And when it bounces back, it's 0.7 squared, and it bounces back again, it's 0.7 cubed. So it hits four times total, and it gives me a skill modifier of 2.533. As you can see, it almost catching up. It is almost catching up to tornado, hitting 3 enemies back and forth. And now let's add other things. Like let's calculate Saw Blade's DPS with Ricochet. After including crit damage, it is 3.08. As you can see, it is already higher. So any weapon, even including Saw Blade, has a higher DPS than Tornado. And it only gets worse from here on. Bow and Staff with a weapon modifier of 1, they get 3.85, and that is 1.41%. That is 41% more DPS, and that means it is more than 1 attack boost. So you were thinking, oh, but you have to get Ricochet for the weapons to matter, for other weapons to do more damage. And first of all, no, but you have to include 1 skill also for Tornado, because it gets you are counting Ricochet for other skills. You have to get 1 skill for Tornado too, right? So there you go. Tornado with 1 attack boost still loses to bow and staff. And for Uncharged Spear, it is actually 69% more efficient, more damage, and that is more than 2 attack boosts. Uh, and then with Death Scythe, it is over 2 times the damage of Tornado, hitting 3 enemies back and forth. So there you go. That is more than 1 rage, entire rage with at 1 HP. This is insane. This is insane how Tornado is bad at DPS. And the Charged Spear gives you more than 1 rage. Yeah, after Dive Scythe and Charged Spear, that is more than 1 rage. That is, I think that's an enough reason for you to abandon Tornado. Get rid of it. It is useless. So Death Scythe and Charged Bright Spear do over double the damage of a Tornado's unrealistic ideal situation. But you will say, but all those weapons have a skill over Tornado. As you can see, not even rage at 1 HP can solve this problem for Tornado. This is the power of Ricochet, the king of all skills. So, as if more than doubling the damage isn't enough to convince you that Ricochet is a bad weapon. To convince you that Ricochet is a good skill. Also, the Ricochet also has a bigger area damage, and it misses a lot less. It is much easier to hit, and charges Spear 4 times faster. So with only 3 attacks, not even counting multi-shot or front arrow, you fully charge Bright Spear. So if you have a multi-shot, in the middle of the second attack, you are already fully charged. So yeah, Bright Spear is awesome with Ricochet. I guess I don't need to calculate how miserable Tornado's damage is to only 2 mobs, right? So, while other weapons can take both Rage and Ricochet, Tornado can only take Rage. And it is still worse than other weapons that don't take Rage. And many people say that all weapons in this game is mutually balanced, and it just depends on your playstyle. But if your playstyle can overcome more than double the damage, then please don't keep it to yourself, and tell me in the comments. I said delicious. I was watching a stream and I wrote delicious. Forgot to take it out. You could argue that Ricochet actually doesn't hit all 4 of them at the same all the time either. So Ricochet hits 4 times, but Ricochet hits 4 times a lot more often than the Tornado can hit 3 targets back and forth. That's just truth. It is about 10 times more likely for Ricochet to hit 4 times on 2 enemies than Tornado can hit 3 targets back and forth. And that's, I think 10 is underrating. It is a lot more probable for Ricochet to hit 4 times. So 4 most common reasons why Ricochet would miss would miss at least 1 of the 4 hits. So when mobs are separated by walls, everything would miss. Either way, Tornado wouldn't be able to shoot through walls, so it doesn't actually matters. The second reason is mobs are knocked too far apart. Because I like to use Death Scythe, they usually get knocked too far apart and only bounces twice, not 3 times. But this is not a problem for Bright Spear. And when you and the mobs are making a 90 degrees angle, uh, and your projectile speed is low, so the left side's projectile speed is not actually very good. So if the mob is making a 90 degrees angles and is a little bit far apart, they will miss. But this is not a problem for spear because the projectile speed is very high, so it doesn't miss. And the last reason is mob is already dead, can't beat them up anymore. Is this even a problem? Mob's dead being a problem. So I wish I convinced you to offer your legendary saw blade and tornado to the other weapons, especially tornado. To other weapons, especially death scythe and spear. So don't invest in your saw blade or tornado. They are pretty bad. Please invest in your death scythe and bright spear. They are very good. And I hope I convinced you with this video. So if I failed to convince you after all this, I will say two things. First, after the first anniversary update in this game, the game has become too easy. There is no need to change your playstyle if you believe you are good enough to clear or farm this game through your sheer god tier plays or full ancient legendary items. Second, this video was mainly focused on trashing on tornado. I didn't list out why other weapons are strong when they are used right. What I mean is that I compared the best of tornado with the basic of other weapons, and it wasn't even close. I didn't even try to make other weapons look good. Tornado is just a very bad weapon. So, well, thank you very much for having to watching up until now. The next video I'll be working with a collab with Let's Try Gaming. His video, his YouTube link will be in the description. So thank you very much for watching up till here, and see you in the next guide. I think the next one will be the runes. Yeah, runes update. Bye.